They said I was too young to understand business. They didn't realize I was already building one that could end theirs. My name is Lena Ortiz, a 29-year-old tech entrepreneur who had spent years crafting a silent revolution in Austin's bustling startup scene. A path far removed from the dismissive expectations my family clung to with stubborn pride. It was August 2025, and the family dinner unfolded at a trendy rooftop restaurant overlooking the Colorado River, its neon lights reflecting off the water, a vibrant backdrop to a gathering meant to celebrate my cousin Javier's promotion to regional sales manager at a legacy tech firm, a role that solidified his status in their eyes. The air was thick with the scent of grilled tacos and the hum of live music, the summer heat tempered by a gentle breeze as relatives mingled in business casual attire, their chatter a stark contrast to the tension I carried. I'd been invited as a formality, a sidelined figure amid their pride. My family, my mother, a retired bank teller with a love for stability, my father, a factory supervisor with a rigid worldview, and Javier, the family's golden boy, beaming over his success, his promotion a trophy they flaunted. "You're too young to get this business stuff," my mother had said during the appetizer round, her tone patronizing, my father nodding with a dismissive chuckle, their words a cage I couldn't escape, their praise for Javier a constant jab at my worth. I sat quietly at the end of the table, my laptop bag, holding pitch decks and code snippets, standing out against the polished briefcases, my fingers nervously tracing its zipper. They were oblivious to my work. NovaPulse, a tech startup I'd launched 3 years ago with $5,000 from freelance coding, now valued at $35,000 and earning $3,000 monthly from app subscriptions. The remarks stung, a public dismissal of my efforts, but it was my entrance with the acquisition team that turned the night into a reckoning. As dessert arrived, I excused myself, only to return with a group of sharp-suited executives from a rival tech giant, their presence a shockwave through the room. The team, led by venture capitalist Mira Chin, carried documents outlining a $2 million acquisition offer for NovaPulse, a deal poised to outmaneuver Javier's firm. The table fell silent, forks pausing mid-air, my mother's glass trembling slightly, my father's jaw dropping, and Javier's smug smile fading as they realized the implications. My heart raced, a mix of triumph and nerves as Mira announced the offer, her voice cutting through the music, detailing how my app's AI innovation threatened their company's market share. Why the freeze? I had no answer, but their shock hinted at a deeper fear. Had they underestimated my potential all along? The moment sparked a fire as I stepped onto the balcony, the river's murmur a backdrop to my swirling plans, each ripple a step toward vengeance. Our backstory was a tapestry of family tension and unspoken rivalry, woven into Austin's eclectic streets. Growing up in the East Austin neighborhood with its colorful murals and tech buzz, I was the dreamer daughter, always tinkering with computers while Javier excelled in sales, his charisma earning promotions. Our divide widened when I chose entrepreneurship in 2019, rejecting my mother's push for a bank job, her safe routines, or my father's factory life, a path they deemed unreliable. Javier soared at his firm, his engagement to a corporate lawyer a triumph, while I built NovaPulse in a cramped apartment near Lady Bird Lake, the city's warm breeze a companion to my late-night coding fueled by energy drinks and grit. By 2022, I'd secured a $7,000 seed fund from a local incubator, hiring a mentor, tech guru Raj Patel, for $1,200, his guidance a lifeline, my savings reaching $5,300 as I launched my first app. The dinner exposed their ignorance, igniting my resolve to prove my worth with my code. Their reaction suggested a hidden stake. Had Javier's firm felt my app's threat? A mystery that lingered as I drove home, the city lights reflecting off the wet streets, each glow a challenge. The journey began with fierce resolve, a silent vow under the dim light of my desk. I returned to my space, the faint hum of the lake audible through the window, and reviewed NovaPulse's progress, my desk cluttered with prototype devices and user data, a map of my ambitions etched in binary and sweat. My latest feature, an AI-driven productivity tool, had gained traction with a $1,500 contract from a startup accelerator, a win that spurred me. I worked 60-hour weeks, my eyes strained from screens, guided by Raj's insight into Javier's firm's outdated systems, a gap I could exploit with my innovation. My savings rose to $6,400, and I invested $2,000 in cloud infrastructure, projecting $4,000 returns. At a tech expo in September 2025, held in a buzzing hall with the scent of coffee, I demoed the tool, earning a $1,600 deal from a software firm, my voice steady despite my nerves. But Javier's presence, networking with investors, his suit a symbol of power, unsettled me, his glance toward my booth a chilling moment. Could I challenge a corporate giant? I pressed on, drafting a plan on a cafe napkin in the rain, the ink smearing, a symbol of my fight against family dismissal and his dominance. The confrontation simmered as I met Raj, his data showing Javier's firm's vulnerabilities. Outpace them, he urged. A former colleague, Aisha, warned of sabotage, fueling my ambition to turn their underestimation into my takeover. I expanded NovaPulse with a $3,500 venture grant, savings at $7,800, valuation at $38,000. Aisha's caution about Javier's ties was ignored. A competitor copied my code linked to Javier, costing me a $1,800 contract, a loss that stung. A vendor delayed my servers, citing his pressure. Was this sabotage? In my apartment, rain tapping, I felt the dinner's sting and a rising challenge. What did Javier know, and why the acquisition team's timing? The sting of my family's dismissal and the stunned silence when I brought the acquisition team lingered as I sat at my Austin desk, the faint shimmer of Lady Bird Lake visible through the window, its tranquil surface a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. The $1,600 software deal was a fragile win, my savings at $7,800, but the $1,800 contract loss to copied code and the vendor's delay gnawed at me, signs of Javier's influence tightening its grip. Was this sabotage to halt my rise? My hands, rough from typing late-night code, trembled as I tested a new AI feature, the digital hum blurring with my racing thoughts. Raj's belief in my startup was a lifeline, but doubt crept in. Could I withstand a corporate giant's power? I called Aisha, her voice tense over the line, confirming Javier's history of undercutting competitors. He'll crush you if he can, she warned. I steeled myself, the click of my keyboard a steady pulse, determined to turn their underestimation into my empire. The next week, I met Raj at a co-working space near East Austin, the scent of craft beer and the murmur of coders grounding me amid the tension. His furrowed brow scanned the copied code report and the vendor's delay notice, the papers rustling under his fingers. This is targeted, he said, sketching a plan: secure new partnerships, boost visibility, expose Javier's tactics. I nodded, the clink of a coffee mug a rhythmic beat, and reached out to indie tech firms, their cautious interest a flicker of hope. I launched a Pulse Rise crowdfunding campaign, investing $1,600 from my savings, now at $6,200, projecting $3,500 returns to scale my servers. In my apartment, I briefed my small team, a developer, a marketer, in the cluttered space, the air thick with the tang of solder. We're under attack, I explained, showing the evidence, my voice firm despite their worried looks. Their nods, a blend of resolve and support, bolstered me, their loyalty a shield. My valuation crept to $40,000, a number both promising and vulnerable. My ascent gained momentum, a surge of purpose driving my laptop. I secured a $3,000 contract with a remote work platform, their enthusiasm lifting my spirits, and invested $1,300 in AI training data, projecting $2,800 returns. My savings stabilized at $6,500, and I upgraded my setup with better hardware, working 65-hour weeks to refine NovaPulse amid Austin's competitive tech scene, the city's warm air a constant companion. Aisha called, her voice laced with concern, urging caution against Javier's retaliation, her own scars from a stolen project fresh. But I hung up, her advice a distraction, my focus sharpening with each update. The contract added $1,900 monthly, a steady flow that fueled my confidence. Raj's update unsettled me. Javier had been seen with corporate lawyers, his influence pushing a smear campaign against my app's security, their alliance a calculated move. He's guarding his turf, Raj said, his tone grim. But his firm's stock is dipping. Clients want agility. The rivalry burned, pushing me to outcode them all. The pressure escalated a month later, a test of my grit. I hosted a live demo at a tech hub near the domain, the room alive with the scent of pizza and the hum of innovators, earning a $2,400 pledge from a venture group. But tension brewed. Javier's firm launched a similar tool, their Smirka challenge, and a tech blog hinted at his sway, questioning my innovation. My heart sank, the credibility I'd built now shadowed, but I adjusted my pitch, dipping my savings to $5,800. A legal notice arrived, vague but threatening, suggesting Javier's network was probing my startup's patents, a subtle intimidation that quickened my pulse. Was this his move? I consulted Raj, his analysis suggesting a public challenge to reclaim the narrative. I agreed, planning a keynote at the Austin Tech Summit, the risk heightening my resolve. The event, held under the summit's bright lights, drew 200 attendees, my hands steady as I demoed the AI tool. The crowd's applause was a boost, but Javier's presence, watching from the back, his expression cold, sent a chill. Whispers spread, lifting my deals to $2,500 monthly, yet the pressure grew. The rivalry deepened as Aisha visited, her face etched with worry, bringing news of Javier's faltering reputation. "He's losing ground," she said, sharing data on his firm's 12% stock drop since my rise. I seized the opportunity, launching a Nova Alliance campaign to counter his narrative, their support a digital wave that fortified my base. I secured my setup, adding $1,200 in cybersecurity and a part-time designer, my savings at $4,600, the team's spirit a bond against the storm. But sabotage struck. Javier's ally hacked my server, delaying a $1,700 launch, the breach a bitter bite. I reported it to cyber authorities, their probe slow but promising, my frustration simmering. Javier's shadow loomed larger, his dinner smugness now a riddle. Had he sensed my acquisition plan? Standing in my apartment, the lake's glow casting warmth, I felt the dinner's wound and a challenge that tested my every line of code. The truth was near, but at what cost? But the cost was steep. Javier's lawyer sent a cease and desist letter, its crisp, legal pages a paper tiger I handed to Raj with a steady hand, who advised a strategic pause to avoid escalation, his wisdom a lifeline as I navigated the chaos of this high-stakes game. The truth emerged in a quiet, transformative moment, a revelation that wove the dinner into the fabric of my present struggle with startling clarity. Aisha visited on a humid evening, the air heavy with the scent of rain-soaked earth, her hands clutching faded pitch notes from a 2022 meeting where I'd pitched to Javier's firm, notes he'd callously rejected only to later use as the foundation for his own promotion, a move that had cost me critical funding and propelled his rise. His smugness at the dinner wasn't mere ignorance of my success, but a mask for the guilt gnawing at him over that betrayal, a secret he'd buried deep as my startup began to overshadow his achievements. The realization hit like a system crash, my anger a searing flame that mingled with a strange, bittersweet relief, the weight of years of dismissal lifting slightly as if a heavy code had finally compiled. I confronted him at the expo's CUNY, the room falling into a hushed silence as I laid out the notes on the projector screen, his eyes darting away from mine, his silence a confession that roared louder than any spoken admission. The audience's murmurs swelled into a wave, his reputation fracturing like brittle code under pressure. My victory sealed not in a courtroom but in the court of public opinion where my peers and supporters stood as my jury. My savings dipped to $2,000 with mounting legal fees, a sacrifice I bore with gritted teeth, but my valuation soared to $50,000, a number that reflected not just financial gain but the resilience of my spirit. The aftermath reshaped my world with a quiet, enduring strength. I secured a $5,500 contract with a global tech conglomerate, their admiration a soothing balm to the wounds of the past, my monthly earnings climbing to a robust $4,000, a steady rhythm that steadied my once ragged pulse. I upgraded my setup with a state-of-the-art workstation, its sleek design and precise hum a song of progress that filled the room, and began a blog series, Code of Vengeance, its posts a raw, unfiltered testament to my journey, each entry a deliberate stroke of healing that stitched together the frayed edges of my confidence. Javier's unexpected visit softened our rift slightly, his grudging respect manifesting in a halting apology that felt like a fragile bridge over troubled waters. His presence a rare warmth amid the cool, sterile air of my apartment, while his firm faced a relentless client exodus, his influence waning like a fading signal lost in static. Yet peace wavered when an anonymous tip slipped under my door late one night. You've won this round, but your code isn't safe. Watch your back. I froze, the crumpled note trembling in my hands, its ink smudged by nervous sweat, Raj tracing it to a burner IP that hinted at a remnant of Javier's circle, perhaps a disgruntled ally seeking retribution. I hired a top-tier security firm for $1,000, my savings dropping to a precarious $1,000, transforming my apartment into a digital fortress fortified with advanced firewalls, motion sensors and real-time alerts. Standing amid my upgraded gear, the lake aglow with the soft pink and gold of dawn's first light filtering through the blinds, I felt a hard-won triumph, the workstation's warmth a comforting ally against the chill of uncertainty. But the tip cast long shadows. Could it be Javier's lingering ally, or a new rival emerging from the code's depths? I sipped my coffee, the steam curling upward like a question mark, ready to face whatever challenge lay encoded in the days ahead, my fingers poised over the keyboard as if ready to rewrite my destiny. Hey Revenge Tempest fans! Lena's journey from outcast to tech titan is absolutely thrilling. Loved it? Hit that subscribe button and join our community to stay in the loop. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from, Austin, Amsterdam, or beyond. Let's connect and keep the innovation alive together. The hacked server and Javier's cold rebuttal from the keynote lingered like a persistent bug in my mind as I stood in my Austin apartment, the soft, silvery glow of Lady Bird Lake casting a delicate shimmer through the rain-streaked window, its gentle waves lapping against the shore a stark contrast to the tempest raging within me. The Nova Alliance campaign had galvanized tech enthusiasts across the city, boosting my deals to $2,900 monthly, my savings clinging at $4,600, but the sabotage and legal threats cast long shadows, the air thick with the faint metallic scent of solder from my workbench and the sharp edge of uncertainty that clung to my fingertips like static. The truth behind Javier's smug dinner demeanor, and the acquisition team's perfectly timed arrival, was tantalizingly close. A code I could almost debug with a single keystroke, yet the cost, financial strain, the fracture of family ties, hung heavy, a dark cloud over my every line of code. My hands, rough and calloused from endless nights of coding, steadied as I patched the server with meticulous care, the laptop's low hum a rhythmic pulse to my unyielding resolve. Aisha's warning about Javier's growing desperation echoed in the quiet room, and I knew the next move was mine, to confront the past and claim my rightful place in the tech legacy I was forging. The investigation into the hacked server broke open the following week, a turning point that rewrote the digital narrative with startling clarity. Cyber authorities, spurred by my detailed report and a wave of public backlash amplified through Austin's tight-knit tech community, conducted a raid on Javier's firm, the clatter of their digital sweep resonating through the glass-walled offices as they uncovered a sophisticated breach orchestrated to derail my launch, its fingerprints unmistakably linked to his network. The news spread like wildfire across social platforms, the city's coffee shops and co-working spaces buzzing with murmurs, the tap of keyboards and the rustle of printed articles, my name vindicated as investors and peers turned against Javier's underhanded tactics with a fervor that caught me off guard. I felt a surge of triumph, a warm rush spreading through my chest, illuminating the dim corners of doubt. But the $1,700 delayed launch remained a bitter glitch, its lost potential a constant thorn in my side. Raj called, his voice crackling with excitement over the static-filled line, sharing data on Javier's firm hemorrhaging 15% of its stock value since my rise, and a cryptic email trail hinting at a past deal he'd sabotaged to protect his ascent. He's unraveling fast, Raj said, his tone sharp with possibility. Now's your chance to hit him where it hurts. I seized the moment with fierce determination, launching a Pulse-unveiled expo at the Austin Convention Center, investing $1,300 from my dwindling savings, now teetering at $3,300, where I showcased NovaPulse's full suite of AI innovations. The event drew 300 attendees, the vast hall alive with the rich aroma of freshly popped popcorn, the hum of excited conversations, and the occasional flash of cameras, earning a $4,000 investment from a Silicon Valley fund eager to back my vision, a milestone that propelled my valuation to $45,000 and solidified my standing. The rivalry reached its electrifying peak as I prepared for the expo's climactic moment, the air thick with anticipation and the faint buzz of overhead lights. I invited Javier, A bold move to bridge the family divide that had fueled my relentless drive, his presence at the center a rare and tense sight, his sleek charcoal suit a stark contrast to my worn hoodie streaked with coffee stains, the fabric whispering of the corporate world he inhabited. His eyes narrowed as he scanned my demo screen, a flicker of dread breaking through his usual bravado, a silent admission that shifted our long-standing dynamic, but he issued a veiled warning of a counterstrike, legal pressure from his firm's board, a subtle threat to my startup's trademarks that hung like a storm cloud. The news tightened my chest, a vice of anxiety squeezing my breath, yet it only fueled my defiance, a fire stoked by that dinner's dismissive slight. I collaborated with the Nova Alliance community, staging a public pitch at Zilker Park, the sprawling green space packed with 400 supporters under a golden sunset that painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, their cheers a thunderous echo reverberating against Javier's fading influence. My voice trembled slightly as I revealed the hack evidence and the Sabotage 2021 deal, a contract theft that had derailed my early momentum, the crowd's applause a tidal wave that drowned his credibility, boosting my contracts to a steady $3,500 monthly.